So we've set out a couple of rules to make sure it's not too unrealistic. Yeah. So what we've said is we'll have a budget of 60 to 75 million pounds, which could rise if Harry Kane ends up leaving.
Hello and welcome to the first official episode of the Sound Lab podcast. My name's Reeve and I'm joined with Sean.
Hello.
And Tom.
Hello.
And today we are going to be looking at how we can make Tottenham title challenges. Sean?
Yeah, so today we're going to be running through a load of different points on transfers. We're going to be looking at how to improve Jose Mourinho's style with the players that are at the club, and overall just bumping them up into that top tier in the Premier League.
So we've set out a couple of rules to make sure it's not too unrealistic. Yeah. So what we've said is we'll have a budget of 60 to 75 million pounds, which could rise if Harry Kane ends up leaving, which we have taken into account.
Yeah, we'll get onto that a bit later though. Okay, we'll leave that for later.
We think this is fair because obviously Levi not a big spender, is he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a budget man, isn't he? So let's get straight into it.
Will want some money though, like he will demand.
That's what I mean. We think that if Kane does end up leaving, we've bumped it up to about 125 million pounds for the spend, because even though they'll probably get around 100 million for him, it's not likely Levi's going to spend 175 million in a transfer window. So cut it back down, made it a bit more realistic. Let's get straight into it. So,
boys, what's your opinion about Tottenham this season?
Underwhelming.
I think that the first part with Pochettino was not the best of start. I think they had 2 wins in 14, something like that. They were in 14th.
It wasn't a great place for Tottenham.
It was 2 wins in like 12, 14 games, and the star players just weren't hitting the top peaks.
Do you think it was right to sack Pochettino?
I think Pochettino is one of the best managers in the world, but I think he ran his time out with them.
I wouldn't have said to sack him. I'd have said like behind closed doors, like resign, so he's not got that sacking on the CV. Because like sacking a manager, do you know what I mean? It's
I think that at his level though, if you're at a level of Pochettino where you've had a good career, start up at Southampton, brought them up as they're getting in the Premier League, and then doing so well, getting them to the Champions League final with Tottenham, getting second or third in the Premier League a few times. That 2015-16 title race with Leicester, even though they finished third from the last game against Chelsea, like it was tight, he made them another level, and I think he deserves a better club now. I think.
Personally, I think Tottenham have got a good team, good squad, good all-round players. So yeah, now Mourinho's came in, it's kind of just changed everything, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. He's a completely different dynamic of manager compared to Pochettino.
But even since he's came in, it's not been that great, has it?
No, but to be fair, he's had a tough job. He didn't have a transfer window, did he? No, he brought in
Lo Celso.
Lo Celso's a class player, but he brought in not many transfers in January. I don't know if he was there before or after.
Yeah.
But the squad he was working with, especially with the attitude of the thing with Eriksen and Vertonghen, contracts ending, it's not a very young squad.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he's got them to 6th, getting them Europa League after the position, and if they were in, I think he's done a better job than what people
There's no doubt he's a world-class.
So Reeve, where do you reckon Tottenham can strengthen going into the next season?
Definitely in Mourinho's system, fullbacks. They've got some good squad depth, but I don't think if they want to become title challengers, if you look at Liverpool, Man City, like there's money they've spent on fullbacks, not necessarily Liverpool, but Man City, it's such a tough position in the modern game. They've got Ben Davies and they've got Aurier, but they're not at the level as the top teams. Even Man United have got, I think, better fullbacks than them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Ben Davies is a bit overrun, been there for years.
Yeah, he's a good player, but...
Signed him from Swansea like 2013 or something. He's not the left back that you want to be able to win a title.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when you look at the likes of Andy Robertson, Benjamin Mendy, I don't really rate, but he's another level compared to Ben Davies, 100%. I think. And the fact that they've sent Danny Rose out on loan, and I think there's an option to buy for Newcastle. So they're looking not too strong there. They have got Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah, he's a bit young though, isn't it? It's just too early.
He doesn't suit Jose Mourinho's styles. He likes to bringing experienced players. You see him with Ashley Young. He played Ashley Young left back instead of having Luke Shaw. Yeah, Luke Shaw was a bit overweight at Man United, but still,
He's still
it's a young left back.
Exactly. Right, so I've got some potential targets that Tottenham could actually go for. We've got Ben Chilwell from Leicester. Potential price 50 million, but it could be more with the English tax and Man United, Man City, all these teams wanting Ben Chilwell.
I agree.
Like, he would be an ideal left back, but especially with Mourinho and the budget that he's going to get, it's probably unlikely.
You'd have to spend about half the budget, and doesn't seem likely, but if it did happen, it would obviously be.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that they're going to be able to get all these transfers we've got down today in one transfer window. It's very unlikely.
It's got to be stretched
unless
out.
The sale of Kane happens, someone's spending. They say 50 million is his value.
Yeah.
But seeing what they've done with that big brick wall, Harry Maguire, he's shocking. Absolutely awful. 80 million. Brendan Rodgers isn't going to be. No, he is. Brendan Rodgers isn't going to be able to get. To sell him for 50 million, he'll be looking for the 75 million mark for Ben Chilwell, and Levi's not got the money for that, especially with them just building a new stadium last year. They haven't got the funds.
It's a nice stadium.
So I think Ben Chilwell would be ideal for Tottenham, but I don't think it's necessarily what they should go for.
I think there's a few better players, few similar players who are in different Europe's top 5 leagues, or even just going out with it in the Argentinian league, the Eredivisie.
Yeah, sometimes
which is cheaper.
Yeah.
So gotta take
talking about the Eredivisie, I've got Tagliafico here. What do you think?
He's a good player.
Yeah. With his contract runs out in 2021, so
experience
possibly
around 20 to 30 million. So,
well, what do you think?
Quality, amazing signing. I think they get him in cheaper than Chilwell. Can arguably do the same, if not better job. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, he's European quality experience.
I think semi-final experience in the Champions League.
Yeah.
With that squad, he's played a very good squad last year, and he was one of the top performers last year too in that team. And seems like he's been linked with Chelsea. He's been linked with Real Madrid. Like they're two huge clubs looking for him. So he's obviously got that talent.
I think 20 to 30 million would be a very good price.
I think personally, if I was Tagliafico, I'd be looking on a way out in Ajax, because obviously the team they've had is quality, but Ziyech is gone.
Yeah.
Onana's looking on a way out.
Yeah.
Half the squad's getting taken by the big clubs. De Jong, De Ligt, everyone's going. I think it's about now time. We've had our fun here. Now let's go to a bigger club. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
He's got to try and challenge
somewhere else. And he's at that age too. He's about 26, isn't he?
He's like 26, 27, so it's not old, but it's not young.
He's hitting his peak, so he wants to be getting into them Europe's top 5 leagues.
Running down on the thing.
Yeah, he wants to be winning titles now. Obviously, he's winning titles in the Eredivisie, but you want to be winning major trophies. They're not going to get. They're not going. Yeah, I agree. But I feel like if they get a few transfers and they can get some cups, they can get a League Cup and FA Cup, they can challenge. And then if they get the FA Cup, then obviously they have the chance of winning the friendly cup called the Charity Shield. Huge trophy in England. But yeah, I think he should be looking for a way out, and he'll be a class signing for 15 to 20 million.
Right, any other areas they should look to strengthen? Especially if left back, you can get someone with a good experience.
Sergio, yeah.
Well, right back then.
He's very good. I wouldn't say very good. He was a very good player at PSG till he had the incident where he got kicked out of the club. But he's too aggressive and too attack-minded. Like he reminds me of a bit of a Benjamin Mendy, where he's decent going forwards, but at the back he's just sloppy, and he gives away too many fouls, too many red cards. His statistics and numbers and tackles and interceptions and stuff, you've seen for yourself with the research, he's not got the best. And there's plenty of players out there. He's also hitting a peak where he's not going to suit Jose Mourinho's style with the right back all out, like still needing the defence. Obviously, Jose Mourinho likes to play one full back forward, one full back, but I don't see him being the full back for Tottenham.
Well, I've got a couple of options here, but the first option's someone who's just been relegated from the Premier League, Max Aarons.
Yeah.
very young, though, that's the problem, you know what I mean? Like,
Links with Bayern Munich.
exactly.
Say there's big links.
Big links, 15 to
How
20
can
million.
you, yeah, exactly, how can you compete with clubs like Bayern? Obviously, Tottenham, if they do get these signings in, could be. But trying to get them in the first place is going to be hard.
It's a tough situation for them.
He's got that Tottenham. I think they have that push where he's guaranteed first team football there. If he goes to Bayern Munich, he's under Benjamin Pavard.
I think if he goes to Bayern, it'd be pushing Pavard out. Personally,
I think World Cup winner, Bundesliga winner. He's strong and he's played well. He's I don't know. I haven't watched him. But what I've seen of him and the words I've seen over like Twitter and all that and stats, he looks like a good player. And I think right now he'd be underneath. But Pavard has a big cruciate ligament injury last weekend, which means if he goes in now, Max Adams has that few months to push at the start of the season and to push himself into that starting lineup, and Pavard can be brushed aside.
And I think Bayern would want to do that because they like playing Kimmich in the midfield rather than at the right back. It's better.
But do you think Adams would be a good player just to come in and take over his spot? Would it really work like that?
Obviously he's young. He's got the element of being young, and Jose Mourinho, like we've said, experience. But yeah, he's got the coaches behind him and himself being able to train fullbacks. Like when he was at Inter with Zanetti, obviously he was already a class player, but the fact that he got the most out of him at such an old age, when he's like 36, being one of the best fullbacks in the world. Then when he's at Real Madrid, he's got the likes of Marcelo, bringing through Danny Carvajal through the academy. Aaron seems like as if he's suited to his style with the one full-back forward, one full-back back.
I'm just looking at Aaron's stats here, very similar to Aurier, but let's not forget that he plays for Norwich, and his defensive stats are bound to be worse or harder.
So obviously going to be under a lot
and he's a lot
more
younger.
pressure.
Especially with Norwich playing possession type football.
Exactly.
They have more of the ball, even though they don't create too many chances. So it's harder to get them numbers up if you've got the ball. You're not tackling anyone who's attacking you, especially at his young age.
It is very similar to Aurier, but he's young, so he can always improve.
Yeah.
So another right back that I've got on this list is Yusuf Atal from Nice. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah,
Very
good
attacking,
season. He's had.
very good season. Potential replacement to Aurier around the 30 to 35 million price mark. Expensive, but he is young, about 24.
I think that price will dip, especially with Corona. I think that price, that's more set out as the end of the season if none of this had happened. But the clubs, I don't see him being bought by Levi for 35 million. He'll be a good player to bring in, but I'm thinking more the 20 to 25 million mark after all this.
Yeah.
Even possibly try and throw someone else in the mix with the deal.
Yeah, he's got players he can throw
Swap
in.
deals, I think, for this transfer market's going to be huge.
Yeah.
He could even do a straight swap with Aurier and like a 10 million bonus, because they can get rid of him. They can get rid of
Why
him,
have him on
and
your
they've
wage
got
books when,
versatile players to play. They've got Tanganga who can play right back as a backup while he's still coming through as a young player.
Yeah.
It's not like you need Aurier there.
He's very versatile as well. He's good competition for other players, you know what I mean?
And obviously replacing Aurier fits almost perfectly. You know what I mean? Starting off in that, the full-back formation. What are you laughing at?
I just looked at his face.
My face?
I looked at his fella's face.
Right,
I mean, like, obviously, with bringing a talent, I think almost fits perfectly into the system. Starting in that four-back formation, and then in game pushing into a three-back, having a talent maybe join the midfield, even join as a winger.
Yeah.
Because I think he can definitely push the winger.
I agree.
He's fast, he's good on the ball, passing's quality, and he can defend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, talking about that system though, like, Sean, have you been looking at the midfielders and like, who Tottenham should sign in midfield to suit the Jose Mourinho's style more? Who have you got?
Well, I was looking for a replacement for Eric Dyer and Winks, because they're okay squad players for if you want them for cup games and stuff,
No
but the
more than a
numbers...
squad player.
What?
No more than a squad player though.
Yeah, no more than a squad player. The numbers I've got up here, I'm going to hit you with some stats. I'm going to hit you
Come on,
some
Sean.
big stats, okay?
Sound like such
So-
a faggot.
I don't care. Seems as though Eric Dyer's a defensive midfielder. only 1.4 interceptions per game and 1.3 tackles per game. That's per 90. So it's not going through every
You
game.
look at the camera when you say them stats. You look at the camera.
I will. Only 3 long balls per match when he's playing under Jose Mourinho's system, where they're very defensive, hold back and break, a little bit of a counter-attack football. He doesn't suit that. His passing accuracy is not the best for a midfielder, just over 80%, and he's only 50-50 on duels won in the air. Doesn't create anything with only 0.4 key passes a game. So I thought I'd have a look at some defensive midfielders who are on the cheap and young, not in the biggest of leagues. There's one playing for Benfica, who you may have heard of before, called Florentino Luis. He's only 20 years old and he's a defensive midfielder, ranging from like £15 million mark. He's putting up big defensive numbers. Not the major long balls, not as many as what Dyer is, but he adds that strong defensive point of view of 4.2 tackles per 90, 3.5 interceptions per 90, and he wins more aerial duels. Okay, his passing accuracy is around 90%, and he just looks like a fantastic young player. I want to hear your opinions on this, because the stats, you can't read everything off someone's stats, especially in a league like this. It seems that Benfica are a very possession type game, so they have the ball most of the time. If he's putting up numbers like that, imagine what he could do under Tottenham.
Personally, I've never heard of him before, but obviously looking by the stats and the research you've done, I think it could be a decent buy. And it's very low risk if you're buying someone for 15 million nowadays. And if they've got decent potential, I know people go 15 million is a lot of money, especially with this corona thing. But if he's got good potential, you're not going to lose money out.
Especially 15 million, that's his value, like we said before. That could dip because of corona down to like the 12 million mark, which is very cheap for a 20-year-old who can be upgraded by Jose Mourinho and his coaching staff.
This is the thing though, Jose Mourinho, he will want some experienced players, you know what I mean? He will want some experienced players. You can't just keep bringing in these young players and expecting them to go and win league titles and stuff. So, have you got anyone else or anything?
Yes, I've got another fella called Joan Jordan.
Joan
Jordan, yeah. He's a bit more of hitting his peak. He's signed for the club Sevilla last season. I think he was at Eibar the year before, putting up big numbers for the past 2 to 3 years. Like I said, he's hitting his peak, so he's not going to grow as much. So his defensive stats aren't as strong, but this is more of an all-round midfielder that can match up with Lo Celso. It seems as though Jose Mourinho isn't the biggest fan of Ndombele.
Yeah,
so
offer more roles in that midfield system.
So he's still putting up okay defensive numbers with 2.5 tackles per 90, 1.1 interceptions per 90. But he's also having that aspect of getting a few, every so often, important goals and assists, 4 goals and assists in 2,600 minutes. So he's getting the games at this club. Like, he's a starter, completing nearly 2 dribbles per 90 with a 77% success rate. But he's also adding to that aspect of Jose Mourinho's style, 5.5 long balls completed per 90. If you're looking at that compared to Dyer or even Florentino Luis, sorry. Yes, he's not as defensive, he's not a holding number 6. He's more of a number 8 kind of, but he's getting that important role for Jose Mourinho, and I know that you've done some info on that.
Go into a midfield duo, say if it's Winks and Dyer. Obviously, that's the play style, right for Mourinho, but the players he's trying to play it with. I don't think Winks, as you said before, no more than a squad player. You play him in the cup, but you can't be starting him, I don't think.
You talk about playing in the cup, I personally think Tottenham should go for a cup like a League Cup or an FA Cup just to get the burden off the back.
Well, he's just there as like not a cup player, but like if you've got big injuries, because Ndombele's had injuries this season. I think Eric Dyer has had a big drought in games this season, even though they have got many midfielders. But forgetting that they've also got Gelson Fernandes on a 2-year loan with the option to buy, with obligation to buy, so they've got to get him, and that's for the cup price. But that he played in the exact same squad, the exact same age as Florentino Luis, so that link up there with them 2 players links very well. And they're both for a very small price. Joan Jordan linked at like £13 million, Florentino Luis £15 million. You could get them both, put them in a midfield free if you want to change it up with Lo Celso, or even play Lo Celso in a more attacking role in a number 10 role behind Kane. with Mora and Son on the wings, like that could suit the possession ball with Louise and John Jordan behind.
Yeah. Have
Because he's got that long
Jordan
ball.
pinging them over onto
Yeah.
the wings, even if just straight to
Tottenham have got a
ping.
lot of pace that they
Not
should
down to
use more. We don't see it enough.
You've got that counter-attacking football available there with that availability of that holding midfield, a little bit like Everton last season, but better. Like that Idrissa Gana Gay type player with the all-round just blocks, interceptions, tackles, go into anything.
The midfield, be a bit more creative.
And then you've got like that Andre Gomez type player, but an upgrade, a big upgrade on him, I think, with the numbers he's putting up.
The thing is,
Sorry,
it's all right. The thing is, I think surprising. Personally, when I've watched Tottenham this season, I think Harry Winks has been one of their best players. But that might just be because Mourinho knows that he can get them.
He's shining in an average team, but he's not got good numbers in a certain thing. He's just an all-round okay player, a genie Wijnaldum, just there to make up a position. And I don't like him either, but we'll get onto that in a few podcasts later.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, but I think that these two players could improve that squad
Personally,
immensely.
getting a duel that good, it just brings the squad together because it lets everyone.
When it's
brings it together.
that's what it is.
It gives a bit more freedom for the wingers and the attackers instead of having to get back and all sit behind the ball and wait for that one chance, and then you've got Eric Dyer trying to ping the ball into Rosette.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that player. You want that player who's crucial, who can just complete that passage. Sean Jordan's a perfect player with experience, a bit more of the age that Jose Mourinho would go for, and I think they're two brilliant signings for that club.
Right, so it was announced this week that Vertonghen's leaving Tottenham.
Yeah.
They need a proper defender as a replacement, really.
Yeah.
They've got Tony Alderweireld and they've got Davinson Sanchez, who I think are the best defender at the moment.
With Tanga.
Tanganga, yeah, obviously young. So I've had a look at some replacements. So I've got Romagnoli
Yeah, very good centre half.
from AC Milan. The price range is from like 35 to 50 million. Obviously, it's a very wide span, but especially in today's day and age. His stats compared to Davinson Sanchez, who said, I think he's the best defender. He beats them in most stats with tackles, fouls, tackles, interceptions, and aerial duels. Like, he's won 61% of his aerial duels.
That's big. That's big. When you look
Compared
at
to
it,
Davinson Sanchez's 50.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he's an experience. He played in Italy, which is very Jose Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? That kind of defensive style. He's got 200 Serie A appearances under his belt, very experienced, and he's only 25. Let's not forget.
Remember, he's also, even though he's right-footed, he plays on the left centre half.
He's a left centre half.
So if Jose wants to play that 3 at the back, 5 at the back, perfect, because then you've got your Alderweireld in the middle with your Romagnoli who can play there, pinging the balls out wide. He's got good passing accuracy, hasn't he? How many long balls was he at? Per game?
Long balls.
Have you not got long balls? Probably got a decent amount here, so he's playing with AC Milan with that Rafael Leao up front with Rebic.
Yeah, they've
Obviously,
started to go on the
and then he can also play it into Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who knocks it down. Quite a similar style to Harry Kane, of that tall target man, talisman up top, like the Lukaku's and all stuff like that. I think he'd be a perfect fit.
I do think they just need to go and just get someone who's good value for money. And I just think they need a solid centre-back, not one that's from the Premier League or an English like player who plays for Burnley, because you're not going to have much of say off that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want someone who plays similar football. I think he'll fit the mold for Tottenham, really.
Yeah, he's a centre half there.
Good leader as well.
You've got a centre half just about to hit the peak, who can be there for 6 to 7 years at their top of the game, experienced, playing at a good club.
Mohamed Salisu, centre back from Real Valladolid.
Where's he from? What nation?
Ghana. He's from Ghana.
Oh, nice.
So basically, I put him down because he's competition for Tanganga, and he's a bit younger than Sanchez. And obviously, he's in the Liga, and I've got some stats to compare him to Sanchez. So aerial duels, he's got 60% win ratio compared to Sanchez's 50%. And obviously, he's playing in a deeper team, lower in relegation of La Liga. But still, if you're spending 10 million, it's because he scores 10 million. You're spending that much.
Yeah.
It's not much risk.
He was linked in January to he was linked in January to the likes of Chelsea and also to the likes of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid wants him, he'd fit that type of system. And I think that system's not too far off Jose Mourinho's system. Obviously, they're a bit more defensive, and Valladolid aren't strongest of team, so his stats will be a little bit boosted with the fact that there'll be non-stop pressure off the La Liga teams who attack.
Exactly.
So his numbers would dip if he goes to Tottenham, but at the age of 20, 21,
Low risk.
no risk in there, 12 million release clause. And the fact that he can grow under Jose Mourinho and his defensive style, he could become a top class centre half for years to come.
See, one of the stats that proper came up was, even though he's playing for a lower relegation team, his passing stats. He makes one key pass a game. For
centre half.
centre half, an average of a game, one key pass a game. I'm looking at going, is that right? Is that right?
I've got wingers set up in front of me with one key pass a game. Like, we had midfielders before with just 0.5. That's huge. And that means that he's getting himself in positions where he can play that, like, little... What's his long... Have you got long balls on this player?
Actually, do I think he makes 2 long balls a game successfully?
That's
Which for a centre-back, obviously, especially in teams that doesn't have much of the ball. I think that's
Not
very,
going to have
very
many
good.
options as
It's
well.
not that bad. See, so the likes of like Virgil van Dijk and stuff who are like top for like their passing ability, pinging it over to Sadio Mane and stuff. He's got something like four in the game, and he's 28. He's 28 with 80% possession, where they can just ping it. He only gets a few opportunities, and it shows that he's completing these when he has the chance. When he has the chance to, he's got the capability of
The
pinging it over.
vision of
making-
seeing the players where they're out.
Yeah. His vision, it must be good. Seems to be
So
similar.
obviously, this is like a player I think Tottenham should go for.
No risk. I think that's a quality
this team
signing.
will be in the race for him.
That improves them. Imagine a back lineup with Tagliafico. Then you've got Romagnoli, Davinson Sanchez, Alderweireld with backups of Tanganga and Simisu, who could push Alderweireld when he leaves soon as he's getting old. Injury prone a little bit to Alderweireld, so you're looking at new players to improve. And then with your right wing back, you've got your Atal, if you want to spend that money, because Simisu saves you that money with just 10 million, or Max Aarons. That backup line is quality.
Especially with Mourinho, he can make a solid back line with that, don't we?
And attack already, to be honest, I'd say attack.
One of the
If
best
it-
attackers.
Not talking of attack, Eric Lamella's leaving, isn't he now? So
Eric Lamella's meant to be going back to Italy sometime soon. So I haven't got a world class player ready for this, but I've got a young player who plays for QPR. Okay, so he's not at the best of sides. They're like a mid-table team in the Championship. And since he's only 22, he's got time to grow under Mourinho. He's definitely not going to be a starter, but he's the type of player that can push the likes of Ryan Sessegnon for that, like, the growth type of thing, a partner to grow and to improve, to push each other with. So I've got a few stats here. In 36 appearances, 6 goals, 8 assists, which is like 0.5 goal involvement per game. Yeah. He completes 3.2 dribbles a match, so it shows that he's confident, he's able to get past players on the ball. However, he is dispossessed a few times, 3.2 also. So he's got an okay, he's okay. That's the type of level that you're looking at. 1.3 key passes a game, decent pass accuracy of 85%, but he makes a very low amount of passes in a game of just around 20ish. Not what you want, but for a player who can grow at that age, it's important.
competition for the fringe players, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the main reasons I've put him in here though is Eric Lamela has insane defensive stats. Eric Lamela tackling interceptions as a right winger or left winger, 2.3 per 90. This player, as a young age, can back that up with 1.3 tackles and interceptions a game, which is better than any of their wingers right now, except from Lamela. So that's why I've pushed that a little bit more to find that type of player. And I think he'll be a decent backup for just around £1.5 million too.
Proper football manager signing, isn't it?
It is a proper football manager signing. It's very unlikely that these are going to sign this player, but he's a decent player. 2,800 minutes in the league to at his young age. I just think he's a decent squad player who can grow.
Yeah.
And he's more of a business too, a bit more of a business player. The fact that he could play under Tottenham, you buy him for 1.5 million, you can go sell him to another mid-table team for 10 million. Like, you're hooking up Levi with a decent bit of money. Yeah.
Levi, if you're listening, he's your man, Statman Sean.
Yeah, Statman Sean.
You got anyone else?
Not for wingers, no, because I don't think it's the most important position.
Of course, it's Son.
Ryan Sessegnon, Son, Moura, Berwin. Like, they've got too many players, but that's just like a little backup.
Sessegnon to excel because he might get too comfortable.
Yeah, he's going to get too comfortable. He's not in the starting lineup now, so if he has another player to push him, then he's like,
hang on a minute.
No,
crap, I've got 4 or 5 players that I've got to beat to get into the starting lineup, and I'm 20. I'm not 16, 17, 18 anymore. I need to start hitting game time, otherwise I'm gonna dip. And that's the type of player to push him, I think. So we've got some words to say about Harry Kane now.
Controversial. You know, it's one of arguably the best player they've had in years. One of the best strikers for the club. You know, English as well, but the money, if you're selling him, the money you can bring in to build the team around, it's mental. Players like Coutinho go for 130 million. I think could maybe get the same for that, if not more.
It might look like a step backwards for Tottenham.
Yeah.
But
if you look at Coutinho,
exactly.
I think that in the past few seasons he's very injury prone.
Yeah.
And this is why this is one of the main reasons yeah, Tottenham fans not going to like this if you're watching, but we don't really care.
We're trying to help you out.
Yeah.
Because wait.
For the game time that he's getting, it seems so he's injury prone this season, 3,000 minutes. Now for a player who's very injury prone, like we've said, it's not good to be playing a player that much. Especially at the age of 27, he's hitting his peak. You want to get that money of 100, 120 million in this market.
Especially with your team like Tottenham.
Yeah. A team like Tottenham.
He is a quality corner.
I think he's actually
That's all that matters, really.
Yeah, but I think he's actually dragging the whole team down because their team's so focused on get the ball to Kane. Yeah, he's a clinical goal scorer, probably one of the best in the world, maybe just behind Lewandowski and Luis Suarez. But 24 goals this season, big numbers. But when you see the actual attributes that he brings except from goals, it's not very much. 3.1 shots, which is expected for a striker, around that 3 to 5. But he only completes about 1 dribble a game. Seems as though his height, he only wins 40% of his aerial duels. With just 0.9 key passes a game. That's not what you want from your striker. Obviously, Bobby Firmino is a completely different type of player, but he's like got 2 to 3 key passes a game, and you're telling me your sole striker who's that highly rated at the club is only getting 0.9. Like, you've got midfielders that can do better. You don't need that, and his passing accuracy is quite low, just 69%. So I have 2 strikers here. Tom also has one of the strikers, and we're gonna bring in some comparisons. So my first striker for the fee of just around 25 million is, I'm not going to say his first name because I don't know how, but it's Milik from Napoli.
I am actually like
Alisson better save against Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm phonetically Polish, because I'm pretty sure I can pronounce this.
Have a go.
It
doesn't even say R. It says R. Arkadiusz. Okay, anyway.
The one from Napoli.
Yeah, the one from Napoli centre forward.
88 on FIFA. Good SBC for them.
Right now. Okay, a year younger than
Harold.
Harry Kane. A year younger than young man Harry Kane. Yeah. Let's cut this. Get back to professionalism. Okay, let's carry on. Okay. So, Action. Okay. He's a year younger than Harry Kane, and you're looking at about a 25 to 35 million pound sale for this man. When you're looking at selling Harry Kane for 120 million, this is very cheap for the numbers that he compares to. So, like we said before, Harry Kane puts in around 3 shots per 90. Milik's looking at 3.8 with a big stat of 2.3 in the penalty box, which means that he's getting in the right positions, getting the goals scored for the team that's been poor this season. So they've been absolutely awful, with a mix of having Ancelotti with the boards and the arguments of Koulibaly, Allen, meant to be having a whole squad wipe and resetting a bit like Valencia, which we'll get onto in a minute. But seems like he's putting up these numbers with a squad like that under Gattuso. They're huge. With 14 goals this season, with nowhere near as many minutes of that, just over half the minutes of Harry Kane with 1,800. Big numbers. Okay, the same goal involvement per 90, 0.7, and he's completing around about the same dribbles with a little bit better success rate of 45%. And in the Champions League, 70% dribble success rate of 0.9 dribbles per game. So obviously, around the same numbers as Kane, but he adds something else. He wins more aerial duels per 90 with a better percentage increase, more key passes per 90 with a lot better pass accuracy of 83%. And for the sum that you're paying for him, the difference in play is not that much. Yet you're probably losing about 3 to 4 goals per season. Maybe not, because of the minutes that he's played in the squad that he's played under. But for that amount of money, and you're saving 75 million to go and invest in a centre-back or in a top-quality full-back or a top-quality midfielder, definitely worth it. And with that extra year, to have an extra year in his career over Harry Kane, like, I'd take it, especially with the fact that people used to say he was injury prone, but the past 2 seasons he's only had one niggling injury that happened for 2 weeks. He's only missed that, which was this season. So he's got a better injury record than what Harry Kane has right now, and he'll get more game time.
I think that's what you said before about, like, he might lose goals, but he might gain goals from around the pitch. You know what I mean? If he's being offering more than Kane would, being more available, he might get more goals, more and more goals players around him. You know what I mean?
He looks like the type of player that he is. He's bringing more players into the game.
Help stop relying on that.
Especially when I watch Napoli this season, especially in the Liverpool games early in the season, they're very unselfish. He's a striker. He's very unselfish. There was a couple of times when he passed it.
Brought into Insigne, brought it into, even though he's playing behind Mertens in the lineup, this time he gets that starting role if Kane
It
leaves.
gives me that kind of Diego Costa vibe, not obviously as nasty, but especially for that Mourinho mould, like the big man up front.
I think you're some
And I think like getting a striker like him, letting Son and Moura excel, I think that's what they need, because if you look, Champions League semi-final last year, Lucas Moura was the star. And then, exactly, I watched Pochettino then.
Yeah, Pochettino made a bad decision there, because it showed that Harry Kane, he can only play against a certain type of style.
And to be honest, it shows how, I don't know, I'd say, I don't know
How
what the word is.
it's Harry Kane.
Exactly.
It's a one-man club. It's a one-man club.
Obviously they're going to be proud of him because he won of their own, but
Lucas Moura, form of his life, coming into a game where he's
Just bagged a hat-trick to get them through.
carried them.
Literally just bagged a hat-trick to win 3-2 against them.
And he's been benched.
I'd also like to get into the fact that Milik's actually won some trophies. Harry Kane seems to be the biggest flop in the Premier League when it comes down to trophies. No one will agree with that, but no trophies in his career, and he's 27. At a club like this, where they've had a Champions League final, had chances to win the league about 3 times. That's poor. Milik's experience in the Eredivisie, where he's won a few titles there, and then he's came into Napoli, won the Coppa Italia, I think it was this season, where they beat Juve in the final. He's just got that more. He's more clinical, more at the decisive moment. He'll get you them goals.
decisive moments. I've got to disagree though. Alisson, Liverpool made that save. Second of all, I don't think it's unfair to base Harry Kane off his trophies. Look at this Liverpool squad. We were getting slated, obviously we're Liverpool fans, we were getting slated for not having won one trophy. We've won 4 in less than 13 months. And do you know what I mean? Like it might happen for Tottenham where one day they win trophies. I just think it's really unfair to base Harry Kane off his trophies.
Obviously, I'm not basing fully off trophies. I'm just saying as an aspect.
Yeah, obviously.
Miller's got that experience over Kane. Kane's got the experience of the final, but not the experience of winning the trophy. That feeling where you want to go again, you want to win more. He doesn't know that. He's just felt the neglection of I've had to carry this team and they've done nothing.
And if he's not experienced anything like that,
you're not gonna have that desire to go. Oh, I want that night again where we have the fans. We have the fans all in awe, and we're lifting this trophy. He doesn't know how that feels, so he hasn't got that push. And for the difference of 75 million.
To invest that in the club.
Exactly.
Yusuf Atal, like, he adds to it as well.
They've got loads of different options, and obviously this is very unlikely.
I think
Like we said before, it's like Liverpool and Coutinho. It looks like a step backwards, but actually two step forwards. Exactly.
And it's not like if you haven't got anyone interested. For years now, he's had links to Real Madrid. He's had links to Juve this season because Ronaldo's hitting an age where he could be retiring this year or like after next year, where he's going to be 37. Like you really don't want that in your striker, especially with a backup of Higuain.
Exactly.
Like. And the links of Pochettino moving to Juve to replace Sarri, that's perfect for Harry Kane to go there under Poch after the stats he's had. And I think Miller could be the perfect replacement. But Tom's got another player to back this argument up with.
Once again, younger than Kane, it's Maxi Gomez, Valencia. Young striker, looks alright, doesn't he?
Yeah, just aged 23.
Yeah. 13 goals, 23-year-old. And one of the top 5 leagues, arguably top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely top 3.
Also racking up 3 assists too. And not nowhere like 600 minutes less than Kane this season.
Yeah.
And a lot of appearances off the bench. He's had 35 starts, 15 appearances off the bench, so he's not getting that huge time. Great
Yeah. I mean, he's alright with the ball, you know what I mean? 0.6 dribbles per game. It's not the best, but that's completed dribbles, and I'd say that's good enough. They create a bit more, get him on the ball, run with it, ping it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tottenham style.
He also is winning 3.8 aerial duels per 90.
Half his drills a game, and it's not bad.
He's not the tallest, and the fact he's winning there 4 aerial duels and like per 90 when Kane's winning what? Kane's winning what, like 2.4. 2.4, and he's smaller than him, he's younger than him, he's not as physical because of his age. 23 coming up against some of the best centre halves in that league, in La Liga.
Yeah.
And I also want to add the aspect of Valencia's owner came out recently and said he's doing a full squad haul because he's not got the money anymore, so they're looking to sell basically every single player and bring in everyone else new. So really, his value is 29 million. It's talked about on transfer marks, but if they're looking to do a squad haul, they're saying cheap, putting them on the cheap. Ferran Torres linked with Liverpool and Manchester City for just 25 million. You could easily get Maxi Gomez for 20 million pounds and make an 80 million profit.
Yeah, I think Tottenham have to take this opportunity.
Yeah, he was linked with, obviously these aren't the best clubs, but he was linked with a 40 million move to West Ham last season.
£40 million?
40 million as a 22-year-old. He was in big numbers at Celtic League last season, better numbers at a squad where their main striker role is top up by Iago Aspas, who's like the big man at that club. And they've only just survived this year without him. They came 16th or 17th in the league this year. Celtic League missing the crucial goals that he has. And I think he could improve majorly under a boss like Mourinho.
Yeah. Right, to wrap this up, I think we've talked about everything there. So I'm interested to see this Tottenham documentary at the end of the season on Amazon. Yeah, they've been filming that. It's going to be quite entertaining.
Huge league titles coming from Tottenham.
Yeah, obviously.
There will be a lot of, I think I've seen half of the documentaries actually showing them lifting titles.
Yeah, no, they've actually... They won the title. They won the title of beating Arsenal. They beat Arsenal 1-0. Get a round of applause for that, because that title, the most pronounced, everyone wants to win that in the league.
Claude, where's your joke on? You know, that's in this no confident we got rid of Claude.
Right, obviously, these might make these signings and not. If these made these signings, like two of them this summer, so let's say Tagliafico and
I think they could probably get 3 this summer.
where do you reckon they'd finish next season?
I think that if they get the centre half, a full back, and a midfielder, they could push the fourth. I think because they're still transitioning under a new boss, Jose Mourinho. He needs time. He needs a few transfer windows to get his squad, because this squad we wouldn't see Jose Mourinho with a few years ago. Like the fact that Chelsea have pushed on to go and nearly get Havertz, probably going to sign in the next few weeks. Werner, they've got Pulisic, and they've signed Ziyech.
I'd say personally the top 3 is kind of set and match. Liverpool, City, Chelsea.
I think it changes quickly though.
Chelsea, of course. Chelsea on paper. I think City and Liverpool top 4. I think it's almost already done. Chelsea, Tottenham, United, maybe even going into it again.
Transition bracket.
I think United, even if these get 3 transfers in, United are probably going to be still got the better team than them, like the starting lineup on paper. However, the manager brings them down, the tactician mind of Jose Mourinho. Like, he'll win them games just by his tactics. So I think it'll be a tight race for 4th next season between them and United, with Arsenal pushing for Europa League and like Leicester pushing, because we can't forget about Leicester. But if they get 3 transfers in this summer, maybe another transfer in January, and then next summer they can complete their squad, then looking to push for the title in the next 2-3 years.
That's it for the first official episode of the Soundlock Podcast.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and suggest us some new ideas in the comments. Remember to follow our Twitter and TikTok, link down in the description and on your screen right now. And we hope to see you again. Bye. Go ahead.